I'm Uncle Hotep, Hotep Jesus. We have a special guest, co-founder Black Guns Matter, running for City Council of Philadelphia, Maj Toure. What's going on, Maj?
What's up, man? How y'all feeling?
I'm all right.
Life is good. I saw y'all had a shooter out there. I was like, I know Maj on the scene.
I was up the street from my house.
Was it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So you know how like every time you bring people to the town, you go to like a certain spot. So I usually go watch the games and shit from like Max's, get a cheesesteak. Max's is right off of Broad and Erie. That shooting was on 15th. Broad Street is the equivalent of being like 14th Street. And the shooting was on 15th Street.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, some of my Leek Moss, a friend of mine, you know, King Erna, those guys, that's their neighborhood too as well. But Leek actually, the Philadelphia police actually had him that was literally on his block. They had him and some of the other guys handcuffed, using them as shields as they were shooting back and forth. That part of the story didn't get told.
Wow.
So when people say, well, why were they frustrated at the police officers? Because you handcuffed 6 grown men and had them on the, you know, literally was telling them, we're gonna use you as shields. And so yeah, that's my neighborhood. How's you guys ever been?
See, these cops are crazy out here, man. Wow.
Yeah, man.
People think it's a joke.
I think that some of those, I'm gonna say this. I try to not never make, you know, well, even saying never is a blanket statement. I try my best not to, right? But I understand both sides. I got friends and family members that's law enforcement officers that literally are like, yo, I'm not chasing those tickets. I'm not doing none of that. I'm going to find dudes that's raping. I'm going to find dudes that's robbing, and I'm going to find dudes that's killing. I know those people exist in that uniform. However, when you run across, you know, when you don't have as many officers speaking up against negative officers, or when you have officers that's doing that, you know, those guys going back to that shooting, they were shooting down. That was the wrong house. That wasn't even a house. You know what I'm saying? And so there's so many misconstruing stories and mess ups that and if your neighborhood is where a lot of the mess ups or the negativity happens, I can understand why people have a negative outlook on a lot of law enforcement. You know, outside of the fact that, you know, they're enforcing very unconstitutional laws from the gate. You know what I'm saying? So even if I don't know you as the officer, you're not my friend or my family member that's law enforcement, that I hear say, man, I'm not writing nobody no ticket. That's dumb. Like, I've heard them say that and live it. So, but if you're not that person, I don't really know who you is. And if my experience is, you know, some of the negative guys in that uniform, you know, that's a part of it. And some of it, man, some stereotypes, all stereotypes are based in some sort of something. You know what I'm saying? It might be offensive, but, you know, black people talk about chicken, and don't say we just like chicken, but you motherfuckers been running out getting Popeyes and Chick-fil-A all week. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, same thing with the police. If people are saying, you know, like, fuck the police, or to the point where they're pulling somebody out of a house, you know, if you miss a story, or you're missing context of what, you know, the law enforcement citizen interactions have been in that neighborhood, then you don't know. There's a reason why there's never been a song called Fuck the Firemen. You know what I'm saying? And so it's there. So, you know, the tensions were a little bit high, but I think it's calming down a bit, because I think even some law enforcement is like, nah, this story don't make sense. I mean, y'all was supposed to, you're shooting them from the 3rd floor down to the 1st floor. And these are friends that are law enforcement that's telling me this as it's happening. The officers are on the 3rd floor shooting downstairs. If the story was you was walking in the spot and shots were fired, you don't go into a location when you're getting ambushed. You get back outside.
Right.
You know, so there's so many missing things and themes. Even down to the one officer that was putting iodine on the officer that got hit. And a lot of people was like, yo, they pouring fake blood on him. I'm like, nah, that's iodine before it start leaking and stuff like that. So all of that thing put together could create chaos and a lack of confusion. But I think you know, we went there, you know, because the block was blocked off. I mean, like 4 or 5 blocks back. But we went there and communicated with the actual citizens. Some local officials they went and obviously tended to and spoke with the law enforcement officers that was at Temple University Hospital, but nobody talked to the community. Like you had people that couldn't leave their job, left their job, and couldn't get into their house for like the entire time of the standoff. And it would have been dope for, you know, some local public servants to just holler at them, you know, to say, yo, this is a fucked up situation, but, you know, we here for you too, just like we here for them law enforcement officers. So for us, you know, Janine had a great idea of going down there, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of was like, man, you know damn well that whole spot going to be taped off. But we got there and we were able to, you know, really communicate with the community and make sure that we gave them an understanding that this doesn't mean, you know, firearms ownership is bad, you know? And so that's really, you know, we've been dealing with some of the blowback on that as far as that. But overall, the community has received that, us engaging with the community very well. And, you know, the streets is going to be the streets. So you're not going to really get them to talk too much if you're not kind of close to them. But other than that, I think things have somewhat normalized, or what our definition of normal is nowadays.
You said the cops was in the wrong house?
Cops initially raided the wrong house. The cops raided the wrong house, or they initially went to do it, and then they got a hunch and went over to the house where the brother was at. The unfortunate part for them was the dude that they're saying was the shooter is a federal informant. This whole situation is not right. It's not right. You know what I'm saying? The dude got a case in 2008. He had multiple attempted homicide cases. Now, look, I might have an attempted homicide if somebody tried to do something to me, so I'm not judging him for, you know, but the reality is in my neighborhood, if we get an attempted homicide, that, and if, you know, that means that that ain't a strike. That means your aim was off. That's what that means in my neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So, but if I get an attempt, you know, for defending a situation, anybody could fall under that category is what I'm saying there. But he had a case in 2008. It got tossed out. They gave him, I did a post on it. They gave him this thing called, I'll look it up. I forget the name of it. But basically it's saying his lawyers was like, look, we want his sentence to be reduced because he's given substantial assistance. So that was in 2008. Now that was when federal came in and wiped, you know, cleaned that up a bit. He did like at most he did like 55 months or something like that. But anyway, and a gang of that was on probation. In 2010, he catch another case. They was ready to hit him. Then the federally step in, and these the same federal agencies that was saying, "Oh, District Attorney Krasner is light on crime, light on crime." No, y'all stepped in as the federal agents and said, "Yo, we got this one." They did that to him in 2008. They did that to him in 2010. They also did that to him in 2016. They stepped in crazy, but in early 2018, we can't find out exactly what how, to the extent that he cooperated. And the reason for that is because 2008, this sealed and expunge rule came into effect in Pennsylvania. So in essence, we'll never know. You know what I'm saying? But this is the guy that they saying that shot the 6 police officers, that they ran into the wrong house. Now, to me, it sounds like he was like, yo, I've been like skating on thin ice for a few times. I've already used my third time's a charm trick. So it is what it is. I'm not going. That's what that feels like to me. But saying this all to say, it was so many circumstances around that scenario. They literally were saying, like, homies was like, yo, it's Leak Moss. You know, it's the rapper Leak Moss. Leak Moss is A.R. Ab's brother. A.R. Ab is in jail for a federal indictment for cocaine. So all of this is all happening around the same area. But yet and still, none of the local elected officials decided to sit down and have a conversation or even reach out to anybody from the community. That's why we thought it was very important for us to be there.
And so you running for the city council now?
Yeah, for shit like that.
Exactly.
Hey, what brought that about? You know, we hear a lot about people saying, hey, you got to be in touch with your local government. You know, now you're going out and you're taking the extra step. You know, you're running for city council.
Right.
What brought that about? What clicked in your mind and say, hey, I can do this?
It wasn't me. It was my partner. You know, and talking about it, I'm usually more well-versed on the issues than the politicians locally, at least. Some, you know what I mean? Some nationally. It's like, bro, I'll run rings around you and shit. You know what I mean? But the thing was, we was focused on BGM and opening up the shop and all these different things. And I don't I have the skill set of self-control in regards to not shooting somebody. I have not developed the skill set to the same extent of the shit that people say to not smack somebody in the fucking mouth. So it wouldn't really be, you know, initially I was hesitant because it's like people like in the gun community and the political community, they say things. I remember, I think it was the Cedric the Entertainer joke where he was talking about how Obama, like his poise, like it would be certain things that people would say. And Cedric the Entertainer was like, he would be like, yo, you don't see him here with like my wife and family, like you saying, you know what I mean? And so I felt like that was somewhat true. But my partner was like, yo, you got to do it really because they don't really have nobody in a peer group that they feel like they got to listen to. And the information that they got is dumb. And me being kind of technically on the outside, that I see what they try to do with me, even with BGM, even though I have a letter from Darrell Clark, who's the president of City Council from a few years ago, saying the outstanding work that we're doing at Black Guns Matter for the city and so forth and so on. But they'll try to and not a negative way. They just like, yo, you ain't in my peer group. That's just, I'm not, you know, it's like now we might not talk to certain people. Like, you know, my man made a joke. He said, he's a comedian that does what's the name of Michael Malice, right? You did his show.
Yeah, I just did a show.
He was in Philly, right? And he was like, yo, is you verified on Twitter? I'm like, nah, I never tried to do none of that shit. And we was driving and he was like, matter of fact, we was going to Max's, the cheesesteak spot. And he was like, damn, should I even be in this car with you? Like, you know what I'm saying? And so it's the same thing. Now, obviously he was joking. But at the end of the day, they like, look, we city council people, men and women, you know, they don't have to listen to people that's not necessarily in their peer group. So the biggest thing for me to make them listen is to go take a seat, you know, and I kind of like view it like what Russell Crowe's character in Gladiator was. Like he was going to take over all of the Senate and like have all of the power and give all of it. Once he did it and got the bullshit out the way, he was going to give all of the people, all of the power back to the people. That's really my thought process there. I don't want to do none of this shit. You know what I'm saying? I want to like travel. I want to like open a fucking dispensary. You know what I mean? I want to like open a gun store and a gym. You know, I want to do that. But right now it's like, it doesn't make sense for me being the person that's in this position. It doesn't really make sense for me to get everybody educated about this gun shit, right? And then some fucking nerd ass politician just come through and make all of the work that we did like null and void because they like, yeah, all semi-automatic guns are now gone. You know what I'm saying? So from our perspective, it was just like be the voice on the inside and the voice on the outside. And it's a personal test because I don't know what happened behind them doors. Something seems to happen all the fucking time with all of the people that go into that world, like Dan Crenshaw from Texas. He was super like pro-gun, liberty, liberty, liberty. Now he's talking about the TAPS Act and the red flag laws. And it's like, what the fuck is happening in this room? You know? And so that's going to be the personal test. I don't know what's happening consistently in that room. By doing with BGM, I'm able to travel the world and educate people and hobnob with really rich and famous people. But at the same time, I get to fucking leave. I get to not have any of those obligations. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know what's in that room, but it's definitely going to be a personal test. And I got a symbol for everybody to know that I've been compromised if I am compromised. If I pop up with two Bentleys, like a black and white Bentley, the same car, if they're the same car, if it's the black and white Bentley Continental GT, I have been compromised. Don't fucking listen to me no more. You know what I'm saying? It's over for me. Find a new hero, fellas.
Find a new leader.
Right. It's over for me at that point. Then you'll know I found out what's in the fucking room back there.
Yeah.
And
you know this is what we're doing there.
Yo, you ever see this movie called The Last Train?
No, I never seen it.
It's a horror movie with Bradley Cooper. That's the guy that was in. That's the dude from Philly that was in Hangover, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a movie where he take this last train home, right? And somehow he like fall asleep or some shit. And at the end of the train route, he like he wakes up and he at the end of the route. Oh, before he gets there, he sees this dude with like a hook, like the last person that's on a caboose behind his Jawn. He's just stabbed this motherfucker and kill him and gut him and shit and take the train all the way to the last end. And so the guy sees him. He somehow get away, right? He come home. He tell his motherfucking girl, and she like, the fuck is you talking about? And he obsessed now. He like, yo, I seen this shit. And he tried to tell like the cops and shit, and they like, what the fuck are you talking about? That train doesn't even go there. Like, so he's like a camera dude, photographer. Yeah, and so he like, he take his camera and he see the dude again, and he try to follow him and all this other shit. And he follow him to the end of the road, and the bull see him. So he dip out again and he get away again. So now the dude is on him. And when he on him, he find out where he live, but the dude don't talk. The crazy, scary killer dude don't talk and shit, right? He find the motherfucker and he take him and he cut his spoiler alert. He cuts the motherfucker's tongue out, right? So he can't talk now. Bradley Cooper, meaning the killer chops him up. And he takes him to where he took the body at the end of the line. And it's these motherfucking alien type motherfucking monsters that need to eat flesh. And this dude's in this secret society that has to feed these motherfucking things. And whoever just happens to be the motherfucker this night on the last train, look, this is the thing that's stopping these motherfuckers from coming underground and like eating all of humanity.
Right.
So as he does that and he shows him, he gives him like the Masonic ring. Obviously, of course, they're going to do the Mason thing. They give him the Masonic ring, and now he cut his tongue out. Now he can't talk. Now he got to take his place as the dude on the last train, killing the last motherfucker every so often. Saying all of that to say, if I found out some shit like that on the other side, the way that y'all will let me know, the way that I'm going to let y'all know is, again, I'm going to have a salt and pepper Bentley Continental GT. You know what I'm saying? It's something that it's like, look, y'all, I can't really tell you motherfuckers what it is, actually. It's some alien shit that I'm not even at liberty to say. Yeah. And to me, I feel like it got to be something to that extent for motherfuckers to always switch up. Like, everybody always switch up. And so I don't really know what's going on over there, but, you know, I'm making a joke about it on one level, but on a different level, I think as a city council person, at least locally, we can be involved in things that actually, you know, as the 5th or 6th largest city, depending on where we fall in the census that year, we can make an impact in a major, you know, in a metropolis. And I just want to be one of the people in the position to deny a lot of the bullshit that's getting presented to us. You know, our governor just presenting, he's presented saying he's going to do an executive action on gun control, meaning he's going to bypass and ignore state constitution. He's going to bypass, you know, all of his peers and just do it. And so to me, it's like, nah, we got to showcase an understanding or application of civics. And if I got to be the person to do it, fuck it, I'll do it.